Pole position. Start.
Here we are. Wrong sport, but
Yeah,
let's keep
whatever.
going.
Well, I don't think this is a
Not that this is
sport.
a sport, but
Hi, everyone. We're having fun today.
Yellow.
welcome back.
We are apparently blipping in and out of existence,
No, we aren't. But like the reality behind us is.
Your fake reality.
right? The weird
True.
thing
You
is
guys
that
in your AI.
oh my goodness, it's gonna give me a seizure, I think. Watching that. Blink, blink, blink. Here's hoping it
Just wait
doesn't
until
make
you
it
have to
into the
edit.
video. If it does, I'm sorry.
We apologize in advance and in post because we're recording it now, but you'll see it after it's done. So
Right. In post, I'll just like put black screens on me and Peter because it doesn't seem to be happening to you at all. It's
yeah.
our platform has had an update, and I'm thinking they may have goofed something up.
Still working out those kinks in it.
I hate being an early adopter. All right,
Why do we
let's see
gotta be
here.
the tough subjects?
Right.
We're using Skype then.
Wait, Skype still exists? That was
I
replaced by
presume
Teams.
it does. I'm sure it still exists. You can probably download it off of like LimeWire.
LimeWire or what is it? Farback Machine?
Yeah. The Wayback Machine.
Wayback Machine. Yeah, there we go. I just need an updated version of Trillion.
Yeah, or we'll get the original Napster back when it was still illegal. Just get all the boomer sites. Let's host this podcast on GeoCities.
Perfect. I'll send you a link to my MySpace later. And then you have to go to my Angel Fire website. I need that counter to go up.
Tom. Yeah. Tom at least will be my friend.
Right. Thanks, Tom. I don't know who you are, but thanks.
Just always start out with one friend on MySpace.
Right? He had it right.
Wait, you can get more?
It is possible.
Or you go way, way back to, the emo days and go with LiveJournal.
Yeah, sounds like it was before my time.
Was that the one that like it required you to like choose the song that you're listening to and you posted? There's one of those that was like that too.
I don't remember. I just remembered it was like basically where we all went to whine about our lives because, that's what teenagers do.
My generation used Tumblr for that.
You had to listen to Linkin Park and then post your...
Yeah.
You're a millennial, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but barely.
Well,
I was born in 93, so millennial usually cuts off at like 96.
I'm solidly a millennial or a...
Yeah, we're like boomer millennials. He's like zoomer millennial.
Yeah, I'm way closer to a boomer. I'm closer to being a Gen X than a millennial, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm like a Zennial, I think they call them, with an X.
What? Well, this is already all of this is unrelated, but on another unrelated topic, when people say Gen A, I always think of Forrest Gump saying Jenny.
I could see that.
Yeah,
because we're on unrelated topics. Nick, when you get in college football?
Probably not anytime soon.
What the heck?
I might get 27.
Yeah, that's what I meant. 27.
When did it come out?
Peter says it comes out in a month.
Like a month.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So right about the time that you'll be, arriving in Texas.
Yeah, maybe I'll pick it up. We'll have to see if I decide to get Wi-Fi in the camper or if I'm just going to use a hotspot.
What is happening right now? Your quality just degraded infinitely on my side.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening because I look good on my side.
More pixelated.
I can't even tell you're you.
Maybe his upload is suffering or something. It'll all be fine later once it fully uploads his section to Riverside.
Yeah, it says that I'm uploaded at 99, 100%.
Huh. Well,
is it still breaking? My video looks fine. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
You sound fine. You're just a little pixely.
Weird.
A little pixely?
A lot pixely.
I mean, should I try and disconnect
maybe it's
and
a filter.
It is not a filter, unless...
I mean, it's probably fine.
I guess we'll find out.
It's okay, as long as you don't mind looking like that.
That's fine. Nobody really cares anyways. That's fine.
Right. For the 12 people that watch this, I think we should redo it all.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Start from scratch.
It'll be fine as
That's
long as
so
we don't make a
weird.
clip of this, since that's where the predominant number of views come from.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should.
I'll just not talk this whole episode.
We'll just have
We can
like
hear you
a
fine.
short, which is nothing but unrelated tech issues.
True.
We'll make a whole new podcast just for that.
Yeah. It'll work.
Podcast bloopers.
See, now we just need to do a shameless plug for our other podcast that we do like 2 episodes a year on. We're
Is
review.
it that high?
I think we did 2 last year, didn't we? Or is it just,
Were they actually uploaded?
I think so.
I mean, you have to watch Spider Noir,
Yeah.
for us to make another episode, or whatchamacallit,
True Detective.
True Detective.
Yeah.
One of the two.
I think it should be fresh for both of us. Anyways, trying to get back on track here. Never.
Eventually.
Genesis 32.
Genesis, yes. We talk about Jacob being scared of his brother as he returns, right?
In his defense, the
Yes.
last time he saw him, he promised to kill him. So,
For stealing
But
his
not until
birthright.
their father died. He had
Well-
time. Maybe.
I mean,
Actually, I don't think it says how much time passes before their father died, does it?
I don't know if it specifically says.
Yeah, I don't think it quite goes into the minutia. Genesis is often void of minutia.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we can just start reading and plug along from there. So we're starting in Genesis 32 with verse 1, and I shall start. It says, now as Jacob went on his way, the angels of God met him. Jacob said when he saw them, "This is God's camp." So he named that place Mahanaim, something like that. Then Jacob sent messengers before him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. He also commanded them, saying, "Thus you shall say to my lord Esau, Thus says your servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed until now. I have oxen and donkeys and flocks and male and female servants, and I have sent to tell my lord that I may find favor in your sight." The messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to your brother Esau, and furthermore he is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him." Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he had divided the people who were with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels, into 2 companies. For he said, "If Esau comes to one company and attacks it, then the other company which is left will escape." Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, 'Return to your country and to your relatives, and I will prosper you,' I am unworthy of all the loving kindness and all of the faithfulness which you have shown to your servant. For with my staff only I crossed the Jordan, and now I have become 2 companies. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, that he will come and attack me and the mothers with the children. For you said, I will surely prosper you and make your descendants as the sand of the sea, which is too great to be numbered." So he spent the night there, and he selected from what he had with him a present for his brother Esau: 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milking camels and their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. He delivered them into the hands of his servants. Every, uh, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, "Pass on before me, and put a space between droves." He commanded the one in front, saying, "When my brother Esau meets you and asks you, saying, 'To whom do you belong, and where are you going, and to whom do these animals in front of you belong?' then you shall say, 'These belong to your servant Jacob. It is a present sent to my lord Esau, and behold, he is also behind us.'" Then he commanded also the second and the third, and all those who followed the droves, saying, "After this manner you shall speak to Esau when you find him, and you shall say, Behold, your servant Jacob also is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the presence that goes before me. Then afterward I will see his face, perhaps he will accept me." So the present passed on before him, while he himself spent the night in the camp. Now he arose the same night and took his 2 wives and his 2 maids and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream. and he sent across whatever he had. Then, and in verse 24, then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When he saw that he had not prevailed against him, he touched the socket of his thigh, so the socket of Jacob's thigh was dislocated when he wrestled with him. Then he said, "Let me go, for the dawn is breaking." But he said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." So he said to him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Jacob." He said, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked him and said, "Please tell me your name." But he said, "Why is it that you ask my name?" And he blessed him there. So Jacob named the place Peniel, and he said, "I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been preserved." Now the sun rose up upon him just as he crossed over the Peniel, and he was limping on his thigh. Therefore, to this day, the sons of Israel do not eat the sinew of the hip, which is on the socket of the thigh, because he touched the socket of Jacob's thigh in the sinew of the hip. And that's Genesis 32.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty straightforward chapter. Obviously, it starts out the first, I don't know, 21 verses is Jacob, basically, like we said, he's fearful of what Esau is going to do. So he thinks it'll be better to split up his people. So then, even if he does get attacked and loses one group of them, he still has others. Tries to send some gifts, some presents to kind of sweeten the deal and make sure Esau wouldn't attack him and kill him. And then that's kind of, it's basically the whole plan there. Basically trying to make his brother hopefully not be upset still.
Right. And then, so 24 through 32 are interesting because it
He
says that,
wrestles God.
yeah, so it says that, Jacob is wrestling with a man, but then it implies or says that he's wrestling with God, essentially. So, one of the things that you can think about here is like, is he physically wrestling with God as is implied, or is this like is this like him wrestling, like I think most people that come to terms with what God has, instructed us to do. I think we like in our own minds wrestle with God a bit at various times, especially when we don't want to do what he tells us to do or tells us that we should do, so we try, but, so we try to debate or what's the word I'm looking for? We try to barter with him and say, well, but I
I
want to
think it
do
has
this.
I think it has both meanings, actually. I think it has that meaning of, like, wrestling with him from, you know, bartering on his, like, commandments or, instructions, but also, like, the literal sense in that, like, he wrestles with him. Obviously not God the Father, because later on in the New Testament, in John, chapter 6, verse 46, Jesus says, "Not that anyone has seen the Father except he who is from God. He has seen the Fathers." So basically saying that this wouldn't be God the Father, but it could be like Jesus in the form of like the angel of man, or the son of not the son of man, but I forget the term of it. Christophany, I believe, is what they're called.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yep.
like pre-incarnate versions of at least one of the Godhead, which the only visible one is typically Jesus.
Yeah. And then the whole, at least from what I've heard and done my studies on, with the like popping or like dislocating his hip or thigh, whatever description or translation you have, that is like, it's to show the need for God. So Jacob, it was basically making Jacob or Israel after this encounter dependent on God still, and like showing that God really has the ultimate control over us, and we are all even. I mean, he wrestled with God in this for what presumably would be hours all night,
Mhm.
and he was kind of winning, and then God then is just like, actually, hold on a second, like
Yeah, it just touches his thigh.
you,
Pop.
yeah, like so. I mean, that kind of to me shows like that ultimate. It's like the way that I kind of describe it to people is as a parent, like as a dad, you wrestle with your boys over time, and like there's times where you kind of let them win in the fight, and then all of a sudden you like kind of turn that lever, and it's like, nope, I'm actually going to show you who's in charge. God basically did the same thing, and that is not the best description, obviously, of what happens here, but it's similar at least.
It does fit a lot of the Old Testament, which is basically God having to treat mankind as like misbehaving toddlers, because that's kind of what mankind acts like most of the time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he still loves us. So, he's
Yes.
okay
I
with
mean,
like just slapping us around a little bit and be like, you know what? You gotta straighten out.
well, and realistically, like if God wanted to, not that Jacob necessarily deserved it in the moment, but he could have squashed Jacob like he was a buck. Like God has that power. But instead, he basically gives him this limp for the rest of his life. And it's like that reminder, kind of like what we see with Paul later on in the New Testament with the thorn in the side. And like Paul talks about how he prayed over it 3 times of like asking God to remove it. And basically, Paul finds out from God, like, God says, my grace is sufficient for you. Like, you will still deal with these things. And it's kind of that thing of like, we are dependent on God. It's the reminder to always give glory to him and know that we need to go to him for all of our life realistically, and we can't do it on our own.
That's why you shouldn't be concerned when I'm driving, even though I can't see, because Paul couldn't see either, and God's grace was sufficient to keep him, not hitting oncoming traffic.
Yeah, because they had multi-ton vehicles back in the
He
day.
probably drove a chariot at some point when he
At
could
70
barely
miles an
see.
hour.
Yeah, the equivalent of the time, whatever the horse went,
7
like 7
horsepower.
miles an hour.
Faster than he could walk or run.
right?
All
Okay,
right.
should
So
we move
now
on to
Genesis
30?
33, I think now we get into Jacob actually meeting Esau for the first time since he fled.
I can take this one.
Go
Now
for it.
Jacob lifted his eyes and looked, and there Esau was coming, and with him were 400 men. So he divided the children among Rachel and the 2 maidservants, and he put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. Then he crossed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. But Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted his eyes and saw the women and children and said, "Who are these with you?" So he said, "The children whom God has graciously given your servant." Then the maidservants came near, they and their children, and bowed down, and Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed down. Afterward, Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed down as well. Then Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company which I met?" And he said, "These are to find favor in the sight of my lord." But Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." And Jacob said, "No, please, if I have now found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand. Inasmuch as I have seen your face as though I had seen the face of God, and you are pleased with me, please take my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough." So he urged him, and he took it. Then Esau said, "Let us take our journey. Let us go, and I will go before you." But Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and the herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard one day, all the flock will die. Please let my Lord go on ahead before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock that go before me and the children are able to endure, until I come to my Lord in Seir." And Esau said, "Now let me leave with you some of the people who are with me." But he said, "What need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord." So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir,
Your
and
guess is as good as mine.
and Jacob journeyed to Succoth, built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. Therefore, the name of the place is called Succoth. Then Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Paddan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city, and he brought the parcel of land where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Then he erected an altar there and called it El Elohe Israel. That's like the roughest ending. Or I apologize for all the butchered pronunciations.
I think you got most.
I wouldn't know, but
Yeah.
good job. So yeah, this is kind of a fairly straightforward chapter, but you can see how differential Jacob is to Esau, and I think it's much more than just being worried about Esau like harming him. I think there's a good amount of guilt involved here too, from not only stealing his birthright, but stealing his blessing. So, but by him leaving Esau and being gone so long, basically Esau, was able to recover his birthright, if nothing else, and has prospered. And so, he doesn't. I don't think he feels that Jacob necessarily owes him anything, even though Jacob feels that he does. And so you get kind of the back and forth, like, here, take this, but I don't need it. You should keep it. No, take it.
Well, I think that paints Esau's like kind of trying to deny the gift of what Jacob sent him is, and like Esau basically showing grace and mercy to Jacob is a perfect picture of what God does for us. Like it kind of just envelops that whole meaning. God obviously does it way more, but it's just a good concept.
Right. Well, his capacity is infinitely larger than ours. So,
Yes. Yeah, of course.
right. So that brings us to 34.
Well, yes, the fun chapter.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the start
Yeah,
of the
I'll take this
fun
one.
chapter.
Yeah, the beginning of more dumb choices by people. Go
Right.
figure. Okay, so Genesis 34. Now Dina, the daughter of Leah, who she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the women of the land. And when Shechem and the son of Hamor, the Hivite, the prince of the land, saw her, he seized her and lay with her and humiliated her. And his soul was drawn to Dina, the daughter of Jacob. He loved the young woman and spoke tenderly to her. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this girl for my wife." Now Jacob heard that he had defiled his daughter Dina, but his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob held his peace until they came. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. The sons of Jacob had come in from the field as soon as they had heard of it, and the men were indignant and very angry, because he had done an outrageous thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, for such a thing must not be done. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, "The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him to be his wife. Make marriages with us, give your daughters to us, and take our daughters for yourselves. You shall dwell with us, and the land shall be open to you. Dwell and trade in it, and get property in it." Shechem also said to her father that her brother and to her brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I will give. Ask me for as great a bride price and gift as you will, and I will give whatever you say to me. Only give me the young woman to be my wife." The sons of Jacob answered Shechem and his father Hamor deceitfully, because he had defiled their sister Dina. They said to him, "We cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a disgrace to us. Only on this condition will we agree with you, that you become as we are by every male among you being circumcised. Then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to ourselves, and we will dwell with you and become one people. But if you will not listen to us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and we will be gone." Their words pleased Hamor and Hamor's son Shechem, and the young man did not delay to do the thing, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. Now he was the most honored of all his father's house. So Hamor and his son Shechem came to the gate of their city and spoke to the men of their city, saying, "These men are at peace with us. Let them dwell in the land and trade in it, for behold, the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters as wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition will the men agree to dwell with us, to become one people, with every male, when every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Will not their livestock, their property, and all their beasts be ours? Only let us agree with them, and they will dwell with us." And all who went out of the gate of his city listened to Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. On the third day, when they were sore, two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dina's brothers, took their swords and came against the city while it felt secure, and killed all the males. They killed Hamor and his son Shechem with the sword, and took Dina out of Shechem's house and went away. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds, their donkeys, and whatever was in the city and in the field, all their wealth, all their little ones and their wives, all that was in the houses, they captured and plundered. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me by making me stink to the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. My numbers are few, and if they gather themselves against me and attack me, I shall be destroyed, both I and my household." But they said, "Should he treat our sister like a prostitute?"
Yeah, this is an interesting chapter because basically there's no good guys in this one.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, like, obviously, defiling the sister is awful. He does at least like want to marry her afterwards, which I guess is the best of a bad situation. But yeah,
Yeah.
then lying to because like throughout the history of Israel, there's a lot of basically God warning them to avoid foreign women specifically, but like just having their sons and daughters marry foreigners, and it's not because of any type of like racist reasons. It's purely for religious reasons. He doesn't want foreign gods idolatry to befall them, and that's tends to happen a lot if you like marry foreign husbands and wives. And but these this getting circumcised, agreeing to the circumcision pretty much shows that they were open to joining the true religion of Jacob and Israel. And then they immediately just like kill everyone when they can't move because they're still, extremely sore from the circumcision. It's pretty messed up.
Yeah. Like, just very deceitful, which kind of following in their father's footsteps, realistically. But yeah, just like you said, like no good people really in this chapter.
You can kind of like I mean I can kind of understand Simeon and Levi. It's like I'm sure they're extremely upset, as everyone would be if like your sister was violated.
Yes, definitely can understand where they're coming from. Don't agree with the decision.
Yeah. Especially when it like instead of just going and killing Shechem, if they would have just like killed him and stopped there,
Yeah.
it still would have been bad, but it wouldn't have been nearly as bad. But then they kill everyone, basically, like all the men. That's
Yeah.
most of whom had nothing to do with it.
Like, especially like after deceiving them into thinking like they're like, okay, like sure, we basically kind of accept your apology of like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done it. Not that it says that Shechem apologized for it, but like they basically like, okay, yep, we will become one people with you if you meet our terms. And then all of the men met terms, and then they still continued to be deceitful and then murder
Yep.
them.
Like you said, following in their father's footsteps. And Mike was so upset by this that he dipped out of the call. You back, sir?
Can you guys hear me? Okay. I
Oh,
had to switch devices. I had some battery failure going on.
good excuse. You just didn't like what we were talking about.
True.
You just wanted to avoid having to talk about the Dina incident.
Right? Well, it's like it's one of those things where it's like I couldn't hear half of what you guys said, so stop me if I say anything that's repeated, but definitely I did hear you guys said like there's no good guys involved, right? So and that's true. And then I thought I heard something about Peter saying that he could understand, but that doesn't necessarily justify it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, I mean, I would be probably real close to a murderous rampage myself, but man, getting everybody to circumcise themselves first,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's pretty
Like
rough.
if you get into a murderous rampage for something like that, it's going to be like in the heat of the moment. As soon as you find out about it, like you could be like, grab a sword and just charge after them. But then they didn't do that. They're like, "Hey, we'll join as one people. You just all got to get circumcised first, and then and when they're in the middle of healing from the very painful procedure, they go and kill them." That's kind of that's not just like blind rage. Oh, I couldn't control myself. That's like
It's
deceitful
premeditated murder.
planning. Yeah, exactly. It's very
Yeah.
premeditated.
We
But it's
are
not great.
picking up your AC a little bit, Mike, just so you know.
Well, shucky darn.
Just wanted to let you know, just so you're
Is it
prepared for
adding a lot of
editing.
background noise, or is it?
Like a
It's a
decent amount. Yeah.
Well, here, why don't we do this? If you guys want to keep going, I'll go find my other headset.
Okay.
Just chapter 35.
35. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Do you want to read it or do you want me to?
I can read it since you just read
Yeah.
the last one. Then God said to Jacob, "Arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make an altar there to God, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau your brother." And Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, "Put away the foreign gods that are among you, purify yourselves, and change your garments. Then let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make an altar there to God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone." So they gave Jacob all the foreign gods which were in their hands, and the earrings which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree which was by Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities that were all around them. They did not pursue the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And he built an altar there and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared to him when he fled from the face of his brother. Now Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried below Bethel under the terebinth tree. So the name of it was called Alon Bekuth. Then God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram and blessed him. And God said to him, "Your name is Jacob. Your name shall not be called Jacob any more, but Israel shall be your name." So he called his name Israel. Also God said to him, "I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall proceed from you, and kings shall come from your body. The land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, I give to you, and to your descendants after you I give this land." Then God went up from him in the place where he talked with him. So Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, a pillar of stone, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spoke with him Bethel. Then they journeyed from Bethel, and then there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath. Rachel labored in childbirth, and she also had hard labor. Now it came to pass when she was in hard labor that the midwife said to her, "Do not fear, you will have this son also." And so it was, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar on her grave, which is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day. Then Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. And it happened, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard about it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's maidservant, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's maidservant, were Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Padan Aram. Then Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, or Kirjath Arba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had dwelt. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years. So Isaac breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. It kind of only gives you
So
it gives you echo cancellation,
still connected to that.
and that's kind of it.
I don't know where it's getting my audio from.
If you click audio at the bottom, it'll show you. You can click on it and change it.
Technical
Well,
difficulties.
it
Great
clearly
software
isn't.
we got.
I blame the user.
That's a fair choice. I did do that to you before we started.
You're the only one who hasn't had technical issues. So
Is my camera still all goofy for you guys?
no, it's
No, it's
actually
fixed
clearer
now.
now.
Sweet. Cool. I like that.
And yours never totally failed. It just went pixely for a while. Probably just
So
like an internet issue or something.
yeah, my wife is like streaming stuff out in the living room, so that could have been part of it. Too many things connected.
Yeah, probably.
Same.
Worse. I think it's gotten slightly louder.
Yeah, it might have, yeah. So, I mean, this chapter also relatively straightforward. I mean, for
Yeah.
the most part, we get the renaming of Jacob, like the actual formal renaming of Jacob. Yeah, there's really not much, I feel like, to talk about here in this chapter.
The only thing I would mention is it just kind of quickly, randomly is like, oh, and Reuben lay with one of his father's concubines. Moving
Yeah.
on, no further commentary.
Right.
Yeah, and
Reuben
I
is a
don't
murderer and sleeps with his father's concubine.
and I don't
which
really think we
is-
get anything else from that, like, moving forward. Like, I
Yeah, I
don't think
don't
it's
think
brought
so
up.
either.
I don't think there's
It was
anything,
just
so
it was just touched upon because it was like I don't
just
know.
remember,
I feel like
don't do that.
everything was a lot more loosey goosey at the time. If it wasn't the official wife, then it was like
Yeah, that gets
Probably shouldn't do it, but I'm gonna.
it gets ironed out a lot more once like Moses gets the actual law.
right.
Yeah, I think God was like, okay, we actually need to give them some sort of written rule here.
Yeah,
Like,
these people can't govern
They c-
themselves, so
yeah,
we're
they
gonna
can't
have to
figure it
make
out
it
on their own.
real clear
Maybe
for
written will help.
Right.
'em, right?
I take it back. I
tried to
don't
tell
want the
'em.
next one.
Too
Oh,
late.
that's fine.
Let's see here. So basically, more heraldry and hereditary tracks.
Honestly, I feel like we could just be like, it's a
Yeah,
genealogy of Esau.
Yeah.
his wife
I
says
really don't see any
daughters.
reason to read all this verbatim. They propagated. Moving on.
Yeah,
They became the
36. Is there
Edomites.
anything?
Right. Well, Edom existed before this, right?
Yeah, they did, but like, there's a lot. He's the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir, so in that region.
So the interesting thing is
Seems
like
like right
later,
now,
like
yeah.
Edom is like a terrible place where like witches are and stuff later on. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I believe Esau is ultimately like according to the Bible, the father of basically the Arabic people.
Interesting. Yeah, it is basically just talks a little bit about like the chiefs of them as well and like the leaders.
I need to get a good study Bible so that I have all these like interesting tidbits.
They are nice.
All right. I guess we'll just go ahead and start with Genesis 37 and I'll lead us out here. It says, now Jacob lived in the land where his father had sojourned, in the land of Canaan. These are the records of the generations of Jacob. Oh, no, I thought I got it. No, I'm just kidding. Joseph.
This one's a lot shorter.
Right.
Yeah.
Joseph, when 17 years of age, was pasturing the flock with his brothers while he was still a youth, along with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought back a bad report about them to their father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all of the sons, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a varicolored tunic, also known as the multicolored coat. Yes,
Coat of many colors, yeah.
coat of many. The Technitronic Coke. What that was that in the 90s? There was like that weird
Technicolor.
Technicolor.
Was that like Andrew Lloyd Webber opera or something?
Yeah, I think it was a play or something like that. The technical. I gotta look it up now.
I've never actually seen it. I just am aware of its existence.
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. That's what it was.
I'm sure that's extremely heretical,
Like
is my guess. But I've never seen it, so I can't say for sure.
it's definitely not sensationalistic at all.
Because didn't Andrew Lloyd Webber also do Jesus Christ Superstar, which is like pretty heretical? I'm pretty sure it like
It
has
sounds like it.
Arianism in it,
Nice. But it sounds heretical just by the name.
right?
Musical by Tim Rice.
Okay, I had the wrong guy.
A music by Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I had the right guy. I just
Lyrics
thought
by
Just for the wrong part.
Tim Rice.
Okay, so he did the music for it.
Right.
So maybe his part not necessarily heretical. He just
Worked
okay
I mean-
there.
heretical. Yeah, was like I mean, if you're truly Christian, you probably would have stood against it. But anyways,
Like
back to the chapter.
I never saw it, but I know my father was firmly against it.
Yeah.
So but I didn't know at the time. Okay, let's see here. Verse 4. His brothers saw that their father loved him more than all of their brothers, or sorry, all of his brothers, and so they hated him and could not speak to him on friendly terms. Then Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, "Please listen to this dream which I have had. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf rose up and also stood erect. And behold, your sheaves gathered around and bowed down to my sheaf." And his brothers said to him, "Are you actually going to reign over us, or are you really going to rule over us?" So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Now he still had another dream, and related to his brothers, and said, "Lo, I have still another dream, and behold, the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." He related it to his father and to his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream you have had? Shall I and your mother and your brothers actually come to bow ourselves down before you on the ground?" His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the saying in mind. Then his brothers went to pasture their father's flock in Shechem. Israel said to Joseph, Are not your brothers pasturing the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send you to them." And he said to him, "I will go." And he said to him, "Go now and see about the welfare of your brothers and the welfare of the flock, and bring word back to me." So he sent him from the valley of Hebron, and came to Shechem. A man found him, and behold, he was wandering the field. And the man asked him, "What are you looking for?" He said, "I am looking for my brothers. Please tell me where they are pasturing the flock." And the man said, "They have moved from here, for I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them at Dothan. When they saw him from a distance, and before he came close to them, they plotted against him to put him to death. They said to one another, "Here comes this dreamer. Now then, come and let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits, and we will say, 'A wild beast devoured him.' Then let us see what will become of his dreams." But Reuben, interesting is Reuben, but Reuben heard
Right.
this and rescued him out of their hands and said, "Let us not take his life." Reuben further said to them, "Shed no blood. Throw him into this pit that is in the wilderness, but do not lay hands on him, that he might rescue him out of their hands to restore him to his father." So it came about, when Joseph reached his brothers, that they stripped Joseph of his tunic, the varicolored tunic that was on him, and they took him and threw him into the pit. Now the pit was empty, without any water in it. They sat down to eat a meal, and as they raised their eyes and looked, behold, a caravan of Ishmaelites was coming from Gilead with their camels. Oh,
Wine showing up.
with their camels bearing, at least I said aromatic, it said automatic, aromatic gum and balm and myrrh on their way to bring them down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What profit is it for us to kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him, for he is our brother, our own flesh." And his brothers listened to him. Then some Midianite traders passed by, so they pulled him up and lifted Joseph out of the pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver. Thus they brought Joseph into I can't talk. Joseph into Egypt. Apparently, I must speak like this and enunciate things perfectly. Otherwise, it all blurs together and I say the wrong words. This would make for a very interesting podcast if you had to listen to me speak like this the entire time.
Interesting is one word for it.
Yep.
Now Reuben returned to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. And so he tore his garments. He returned to his brothers and said, "The boy is not there. As for me, where am I to go?" And they took Joseph's tunic, and they slaughtered a male goat and dipped his tunic in the blood. And they sent the varicolored tunic and brought it to their father and said, "We found this. Please examine it to see whether it is your son's tunic or not." Then he examined it and said, "It is my son's tunic. A wild beast has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." So Jacob tore his clothes and put sackcloth on his loins and mourned for his son many days. Then all of his sons and all of his daughters arose to comfort him, but refused to be comforted. And he said, surely I will go down to, is it Shale? Go down to Shale in the
Sheol,
morning
yeah.
for my son, or in mourning for my son. So his father wept for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold him into Egypt to Potiphar. Potiphar?
Potiphar,
Pharaoh's
yeah.
Otiphar. We're going to sell him to Pharaoh's Otiphar. Thanks,
Pharaoh's
Otiphar.
otter.
Pharaoh's officer, the captain of the guard. This is going to be great. I'm going to have so many clips of me just like fumbling over my words. It's going to be epic.
That's awesome.
This is a terrible chapter for that because this is like one of the most interesting ones because there's so many like allusions in it. Like
Right.
first of all, we have like Jacob, aka now Israel, kind of getting a taste of his own medicine and like the having a favorite child, and then that child getting wronged by his other children, just like he did with Esau.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's very interesting that Reuben is the one who's like, "Hey guys, let's not murder our brother," when he's the one who's like done the most wrong, at least the most recorded wrong previously, by both sleeping with his father's concubine and murdering the all of the house that dishonored Dina. And then they sell him. Well, the rest of the brothers sell him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels, which is the same amount that later Judas betrays Judas for.
Well, it's the
I
price.
thought it was 30.
Yeah, it's
was that
30 pieces
Oh,
of
yeah,
silver.
you're right.
But I mean, same
But a
concept.
bunch of,
Inflation.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Inflation.
exactly.
That's a
Well,
touchy subject.
he's
Careful.
sold for, well, I guess that could be an illusion too, because it's like, I mean, he's not Jesus, so it's going to be less, but it's still shekels of silver for like betraying
Well,
your brother.
30 shekels of silver is, or pieces of silver, or however you want, whatever nomenclature you decide to use, was the going rate of a slave at the time. That's why they paid him 30 pieces of silver for
Interesting.
Jesus. Yeah.
I will
And-
quick chime in. It is technically Simeon and Levi that start murdering everybody because of Dina, but Reuben is not at fault.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
But
Sorry.
still, because like Reuben is the oldest of them, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he is.
And so like he was supposed to kind of be watching over all of them, and like it's not technically recorded, but I would just assume with how that works, like the oldest is kind of the keeper when everyone's away.
Yeah, you're probably
But
right
still,
about that.
And Jacob is the youngest, right?
Yep.
So like
they still all hated Jacob.
Right.
That's not any different. Or Joseph, sorry, not
Joseph,
Jacob.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one other thing, but
one of the things that I was hoping that one of you might have insight to was they mentioned that he oops, I skipped it. I'm on the wrong chapter here. I was trying to scroll back. So they mentioned that that Jacob tore his clothes and put sackcloth on his loins and mourned his son for many days. So I'm guessing that was like a traditional thing. Like I guess I don't understand the tradition. Do either of you have insight?
that's like exactly what Job did as well in the book of
So
Job.
all throughout the Old Testament, the way, and men specifically, women did it too, but for men to show their mourning is they would tear their clothing and wear sackcloth. Sackcloth was very much so basically like canvas bags. It was very
Like
itchy,
burlap.
very uncomfortable. Yeah, burlap. Thank you. That was actually the term I was looking for. And it was usually used to carry goods. And I don't know if there's any like realistic like reason that that like distinction was made, but it was always like they put on sackcloth and then they would go out in the streets and mourn, and it was like their visual representation of them, the men mourning in particular. You'll see, we'll get to it once we get to the book of Isaiah, but you see it a ton with all the things in the book of Isaiah.
So it's like
all the different,
the modern day equivalent of just wearing, like everybody wearing black.
basically. Also, like you'll see a lot of the times they will like put ash on their forehead, or they'll pour ash over themselves. That's also like a sign of mourning. Not to be confused with like Ash Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's like a Catholic tie, if the Catholics tie that in somehow. I have no idea.
I'm sure that's just like a more specific application of that same principle, only to honor Jesus specifically rather than just, generic dead.
It
Right.
very well could be. But yeah, so it is like, and then obviously like tearing your clothing, that literally means they're like ripping their clothes off to bare naked. And that was a pretty shameful act usually. Like you didn't let others, especially like your sons or daughters, see. I mean, we saw that earlier with Noah. Like you weren't supposed to see your parents or really your family members nude. So yeah, it's kind of just more of a mourning type act. And like Peter said, like Job does that exact thing, which we'll get to in a few books.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think about that, like, cause just culturally, I mean, because there's, some cultures, like, they don't care, and, like, being seen naked and stuff, like, if you think about it, like, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, Japan. Japan, they like, everybody does public bathing, basically, you know what I mean? Like, from a young age, you'll bathe with your parents, your siblings, uh, and then, like, as you get older, like, they have, like, public bathhouses, and so, I mean, obviously, they're sex segregated, but they are, like, you just go in and take a shower and a bath with, like, 30 other guys, and, like, nobody even bats an eye. So
I
it's
think a
just
lot of that also, like, you can see that play into the perversion of what God's true intention was for us as beings over time. Like, and then obviously we look at our culture now to bring it, modernize it a little bit more of like just the hypersexualization of everything.
right.
Like, same sort of concept, little different, but like same general idea.
Right. Yeah. I'm a firm believer that, like, lust is one of the biggest issues that we as a society deal with right now. Like, just all the sins that revolve around lust, like lust in and of itself, and all the things that revolve around it.
Yeah.
It's like the most effective weapon that Satan has, and
Right.
even in the Bible, like the most consistent thing that will cause great men in the Bible to fall is always women.
Right.
Like King David with Bathsheba, what's his face?
Solomon, or no,
Yeah, Solomon with like a
Samson
ton
is
of
what I meant,
Samson.
but
Samson.
Samson
Well,
was
Solomon just did it in greater quantity. Samson did it with greater
like
quality.
So the
yeah,
thing with Samson though is that's a little bit different because sure, but she kept badgering him and he kept lying to her, like,
well, yeah,
obviously. So he knew what she
yeah,
was looking for. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because you lie to her and then all of a sudden that happens. It's like, okay, so if I tell her that's my hair, she's gonna cut it off. And so, like, there's like speculation that the reason that he finally gave in is just so she'd leave him alone. Like, he just got tired of listening to her harp all the time.
Which, I mean, if you think about that, if that's really the case, I've never thought of it that way. But how often do we get badgered with sinful acts, lustful things, and it kind of almost the same exact thing happens? Not necessarily of like, oh, we just want this to go away,
Right.
but
Well,
like
you
we are
you
just
get worn down,
constantly,
you capitulate
yeah, and you
eventually.
just give into it. Like
Yep.
that's kind of a good picture to paint, realistically.
Right.
I just love in this chapter, back to Genesis 37 here, like we get both of Joseph's dreams described here to begin with. And like the bluntness, not necessarily from the description of the dreams, but the bluntness of the brothers just being like, we hate this guy. Like, just come on, dude. Like, why are you going to be the one in charge? Like, that's not how this works.
It's funny
Like,
because it's the youngest too.
Right.
Because like,
yeah,
because you can just see like the youngest brother being like, "Oh, I had this dream where you guys were all worshiping me, and I was the greatest."
yeah. And they're like, okay,
You're
well,
like,
yeah,
"Yeah, enough of that."
we're sick of
Like,
hearing this.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
And then even,
technically Jacob was the younger brother too. Only by, a
yeah,
short amount
yep.
of time, but he was the younger.
And like Peter kind of alluded to that with like Jacob, Israel at this point now, seeing like kind of that the turn on his youngest son, the one that he loved the most, like that same sort of concept. But then even like Israel hops in on this of like, really, like we're gonna bow down to you, like
Right.
he's probably fine with it
But
up
he kept
until
it
he had the
tucked away in the
dream
back of his head.
where he and
true.
He's probably fine with it up until he had the second dream where like both he and the mom also had to
Right.
bow to him too. It's like, it's
Yeah.
fine if the brothers bow to you, but I ain't bowing to you.
Sorry, I got a crick in my back. I can't do that.
I got a bad hip.
Right.
Like, obviously what that dream is that foreshadowing of what we get for the rest of, these 12 chapters that are left in Genesis.
I honestly, I really love this story.
As like unfortunate as it is, and again, I kind of hit on it way earlier in one of the earlier episodes, but that statement that Joseph makes at the end of "you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good" has always stuck with me ever since, like, kind of reading and studying the story of like, so many people will try to do things to kind of knock you down a peg a lot of the times. And most of the time, eventually that turns out to be a good thing in your life down the road. And it's like, you can look back on it and be like, "Ah, like that's why God made me go through this X, Y, and Z struggle. I'm such a better man or a person now or whatever."
Right.
So it is such a great thing. Hard to deal with in the moment. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Oh, I think Mike's
but
heads that died. His
yeah,
ears
might have.
died. This is
Yeah.
known as Joseph in the Technicolor technical difficulties episode.
That's what we should name this episode.
The problem child.
No,
No,
Joseph.
Yeah, go ahead.
Joseph in the Technicolor technical difficulties.
True. Yep. All the time my headset finally died, and I was just thinking, I was like, huh, I bet you, if we cut out all the technical difficulties, we could get a couple more chapters in.
Yeah.
Easily.
But on the flip side, though, now is kind of, I don't know, I feel like now is a good breaking point.
I'd say so. Like, we're
Yeah.
just getting into the story of Joseph.
Right.
Things really start to kind of heat up in the next few chapters and like
Right.
just
And
all the stuff that happens.
but it's like, let's see here. How far? Yeah, I don't know. This basically finishes out the book.
It
Right?
does. Yep.
Yeah.
The rest of Genesis is just a story of Joseph, essentially, in Egypt
Right.
and the famine and all that.
Right.
Which is so interesting.
Yep. This is where I would shamelessly plug if you're a fan of progressive rock or progressive metal, the fantastic Neil Morse has a 2-disc concept albums based on the story of Joseph called The Dreamer Part 1 and 2. Check it out.
I might actually have to go listen to that.
You say shameless plug, but it doesn't benefit you at all.
It does, because more people should listen to Neil Morse because he's awesome.
I'm more of a Christian metalcore fan, so
I'm not a big fan of metalcore.
yeah, that makes sense.
I like my prog rock,
Yeah.
my
I'm
boomer.
old.
Well, yeah, as you're repping the Opeth shirt right now.
Hey, this is prog metal,
Well, yeah.
It's still prog. Actually, Opeth went exclusively prog rock for like 5 albums or so before they finally went back to prog death metal.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's not great, but I'm a grungy. I listen to a lot of grunge.
I mean, Soundgarden's good.
And new metal. I gotta listen to the new metal that Peter hates.
I have nothing good to say about new metal. This has now devolved into a music podcast.
Yeah, that'll happen. Hey, at least we all are in the metal scene.
True.
Very different,
Well, yeah,
spectrum.
that's how it works.
What do you think of early 2000s groove metal? Was that too different from new metal?
I don't know that I could identify groove
Like,
metal.
what would be the closest? Like, I don't know.
Like Pantera and like Sepultura.
Okay, yeah. Not bad.
Not my cup of tea necessarily, but
Come on, Roots, Bloody Roots, classic.
maybe if I heard it, I don't know. I didn't go out of my way to listen to most of that. I had friends that were into like that. I had friends that were into the heavier stuff. Usually, when it came to the heavier stuff, I liked the soft stuff that the heavier people did, which is kind of odd. But again, this is all like in the late '90s, early 2000s. So, trying to think of something off the top of my head, the closest thing that I can come up with
Opeth
is
has a lot that's actually like that. They'll have like, to go with their, even in the same song, they'll have soft sections, but they'll have like pure soft songs even on their heavier albums as well.
Right. Or like spin-off bands. So what's I'm really struggling. I suck with names, guys, if you haven't noticed this yet. So the band is a really heavy metal, well, not really heavy, but really, I don't know. It's a heavy band. They all wear like masks and jumpsuits.
Slipknot,
Slipknot. So like there's a couple of
Stone
songs.
Sour.
Stone Sour, yeah.
That's his
So
other
I
band.
like
Yeah.
Stone Sour.
They're pretty good.
And there's only a couple of Slipknot songs that I like, and it's probably just because I've heard them so much that I've got Stockholm syndrome, which is actually how most of my music preferences work. Like I listen to something so much that I start to like it.
See, I
I
went the
mean-
opposite way. I was forced to listen to a ton of like punk and ska because that's what my brothers listened to, and now I hate those genres with a passion.
He hates all horns, whether or not they're in music or not.
That's not
or in
true.
his music or not.
That's not true. Early Chicago is fantastic, and there's a ton of horns in that.
True, but you don't like Superman.
I mean, your 90s 2000 is like the peak era. It's like the golden age for new metal.
Yeah, it really is.
If you're a fan of new metal, that's the way to go. It's like that is the perfect era.
Right. Well, I mean, like that was my staples. Is like, and I'll be perfectly honest. Most of this music came through my friends. Like they listened to this music, and it just grew on me, because at the time I was more interested in listening to things like Collective Soul and Live and like Guns N' Roses and Cinderella and Warrant, and like I was kind of I was kind of transitioning from
80s.
mostly 80s stuff, right? So but yeah, so like, obviously like, Limp Bizkit and Korn and Marilyn Manson and like
Disturbed's kind of in there.
Disturbed, yeah. I think Stained was closer to like early 2000s. I'm not sure if that really qualifies as new metal. It's kind of like some of their songs probably does, but
Yeah, it's like on the cusp almost.
right. What's the other one? Linkin Park. Peter absolutely
Yeah.
hates Linkin Park.
Excuse me, I got something stuck in my throat.
Was it a never mind.
Whoa, I don't like where that's going.
I'm gonna
It was
keep
all
my
of his sin
comments.
coming
I'm
out.
gonna keep my comments PG, but
Yeah,
I'm
until
not
we're
a
off the
fan of-
podcast.
I'm not a fan of Linkin Park.
It
Not a
was all
fan.
the sin start coming out because
Yeah, I don't know. I was growing up in the early 2000s, so new metal was pretty big for me. But as I got a little older, metalcore is what I've gotten into. And now over the past like 6 years, I'm now just like Christian heavy metal, metalcore. Like I'm a big, like recently I've been listening to a ton of For Today, which they haven't made music in a decade. Bloodlines is like a more recent band.
I think about the closest thing I've ever gotten to Christian rock is like Chevelle or Creed. Creed, probably.
I
There's some
actually
pretty good
unironically
Christian
kind
metal.
of like Creed.
I love Creed. I
They're not
don't know.
bad.
Probably, and it's even better because I can sing Creed, so it's
Yeah, that helps.
Creed is like one of those bands that like everyone can sing, but can anyone actually sing it well?
You're here.
I think I could sing it fairly well.
Is this after you've had several glasses of wine?
That I think I can, or that I can.
Yes. Honestly, it
I
could
don't
be
know.
both.
I don't know. I used to be able to sing it halfway decent. I'm not obviously a professional singer or anything, but
That's it. We're gonna have a bonus karaoke episode.
perfect.
Can you get negative views on a video?
Yeah, the
Who's springing
YouTube
for
took
the
away the
karaoke
downvote,
machine?
so
We're gonna buy one of those cheap karaoke machines, set it up out at Peter's place, and have a live cast.
Can you like manually enable the downvote option?
wish.
Because
That'd
I
be
also
funny.
need to downvote that video.
You can downvote the shorts. I don't think you can downvote the full videos.
yeah,
What
no,
sense does that make?
none. None.
YouTube doesn't make sense.
We like
YouTube's going-
arbitrary around here.
They're going soft. They don't want to hurt people's feelings.
We hurt everybody's feelings. It's
So
good
So in
for ya.
summary, listen to Neil Morse. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
In summary, don't listen to any of the music that we discussed because it's not very.
Nothing
It's
wrong
not
with
very-
Creed or Neil Morse or any of the bands Nick mentioned.
For the
Most
most part,
most
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
most of the stuff I mentioned probably isn't
Don't listen
very
to any of that new metal garbage.
yeah. Stuff and things and stuff. See you later. Bye bye.
Nailed it.
oh, that's
We're
funny.
doing good, guys. This is the best episode ever.
That's fine.
I do not envy you having to edit this one.
Yeah.
Who said I was going to edit it?
You're just gonna release it uncut and be like, "What is this?"
It's fine. Maybe it'll get more views.
You can just bring up timestamps. Be like, skip ahead 15
Yeah.
minutes to get back to
Yeah.
the actual Bible study.
If you
portion.
don't want to listen to us like blather on about nothing for 5 minutes, here, click this.
Yeah.
to be
And that's
be
not
fair,
going to
most of
happen.
it was
That
at
means I
the
have to do
end.
editing.
To be fair, most of it's at the end. So
Is it?
Yeah.
all the music stuff was at the
Yeah.
end.
Plus,
There
if
was
you
a-
don't watch the whole thing, you don't get to see all the technical difficulties.
True. Speaking of technical difficulties, I'm going to put Nick on the spot and we have to say a closing prayer.
The usual.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the blessing of just this meeting that we get to do on a regular basis. And I just thank you for the two men that host this podcast with me and their willingness to study your word and just get to spend some time together fellowshipping and learning more about your word and what you have in store for us in the Bible. And we just pray that you will just continue to guide us and help us to have a better understanding each and every week as we're reading through this. And we pray for all the people watching and all of our friends and family and all the things that we have going on, all the people on our prayer list. We just pray that you can just watch over each and every one of them and continue to guide us and just keep us to be as faithful as possible to you. And we just pray that your will be done in all things, Lord. We ask all this in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. So I'll just take a moment here just to mention all again that if you want to be included in our prayers or you want us to say anything or comment and if there's anything that we can do to help you, you can absolutely reach out. You can comment on any one of our videos. We'll see it and we can reply and ask questions, or bring that into our podcast as necessary. The other thing that you can do is you could email us if you don't feel comfortable putting that in the public sphere. And absolutely, I understand completely. If you want to share that way, you can send it to us via email. That you can send us an email to scratchtoscripture@gmail.com. I'll put an email, the link in the description. I've been trying to do that with all these videos so that it's available. And I think that's it. That's all I got.
Let us know what music you're listening to. We always
Actually,
like to
yeah,
look
that'd
up
be
some new
kind of
stuff.
interesting. I'd be interested to hear what the the two people that stumble across this video happen to.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we're somehow reaching the metal demographic and we'll all get some new music.
Right.
No, they're listening to Zydeco.
They're all gonna mock
never even
me
heard of
for
it.
all my music. That's what this is gonna devolve into. It's like, why does he listen to garbage?
Don't
What do
worry.
you
I
mean you
get a
used
lot
to
of
listen to music like Fuel?
I get a bunch of people that tell me that I can't be listening to Christian music because they're screaming. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like Christian music is Christian music, right? As long as
as long as the message is right.
right, exactly.
That's my view of it. Obviously, someone else can have a different view.
Yeah.
I
mean,
probably
who
won't
are
agree
we to
with you,
say
but
what's
hey,
right and what's
Well-
wrong? But
as long as they have a true biblical presence,
right.
it's Christian music. If you ask
I
me.
did see when I was, gosh, how old was I? 15, I think. Our youth group went to a Christian concert that was held at a high school. Let's see that happen nowadays. When in yeah, I think I was like 15 or 16. It was actually a lot of fun. The music was really fun. Obviously, I didn't know any of the music, so that, it's hard to jive when you don't know the lyrics and stuff, and it's the first time hearing something, but it was definitely a lot of fun. It was like a lot of fellowship and people just having fun, and I got to meet some new people and chat with them, and that was great. Actually, I missed that a lot. That's one of the things I missed the most about like our youth group was that we like would spend time with other people, like-minded people, and just like be able to do normal stuff, but like you keep you can be, and I hope this isn't something that other people struggle with, but something that I've struggled with probably over the course of the last 20 years or so is being open and honest about my belief, because I've always not always, but there's that like that fear of not necessarily retribution, but that of being shamed for my beliefs because people are just so, anti-Christian or have become very anti-Christian over the last, couple decades, I feel. And so obviously not something that we should be doing as Christians is hiding our faith, which is, part of what I'm doing now, right? I'm getting better. I'm trying to do what I can
The
to
pendulum is swinging back on that, luckily, now, like, the younger
right,
generations are becoming less anti-Christian than,
right.
like,
It
say, the millennials.
right. And I think that's part of it. The other part is like not only is it just swinging back the other way, but it's also the people that have felt like they couldn't talk about it over the course of time maybe are hitting an age where they care less about other people's opinions, which is I think kind of what's happening to me. Is like I'm more confident in my faith. I care less about what other people say about my faith, and if they have a problem with it, that's not my problem. You know what I mean? That's like I think that's just one of those things that comes with age and experience, and being less, and confidence in yourself and in Christ, and understanding that there's very little that they can do to harm me. I mean, what are they gonna do? Take my birthday away? I mean, it's not like anything they say can hurt me. So
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Also, did you meet Scott Stepp at your youth at that concert?
I don't know who that is.
That's the lead singer
Uh,
of Creed! Come
Was it?
on. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know names.
Well, now you'll know that one.
No, I won't. I'll forget
he'll
it in
forget
5 minutes.
That's one name everybody knows.
It's like a Stan Lee name. It's like a fake name almost because you're like, that can't be his real name.
It probably is a fake name. It's
I
probably
think
a
it is
stage
his real
name.
name.
That's
I
what
don't
you
know.
say.
I have
Yeah,
no
I mean,
idea, actually.
None of us know.
I choose to believe it's his real name.
I mean, like, if you guys were if you became famous, would you keep your same last name and put all of your family at risk?
Yeah, because no one would like remember my last name because it's too long.
It's a very unique name, though. So, I mean, it'd probably
Yeah,
make it real easy to find like your parents.
I mean, they're old. They're fine. We got
They'll just have
guns. It's
media.
fine.
There'll be like 30 reporters parked on their lawn all the time, and I'm sure that won't frustrate your dad at all.
No, he's can blow by him on a motorcycle or get out a gun. Get off my
Get off
lawn!
my lawn!
He can do his best Clint Eastwood impression.
Right.
Although he doesn't have an M1 Garand. I could do it though. I've got an M1 Garand, so I can do it perfectly.
But
I
Yeah,
have a
for
he's got to
garden
music
put
gnome,
some
though.
guns.
dip in and then spit afterwards.
I need to get some dip in a garden gnome.
And a Gran Torino.
I don't have that though. No, I'm more likely to get the garden gnome than the Gran Torino.
You wouldn't know what to do with a nice car.
I really wouldn't. It'd be wasted on me.
It'd just sit in the garage.
I've driven my dad's Porsche, and I told him afterwards, I'm like, never has a car like that been so wasted than when I was driving it.
I was really excited to drive Cal's Porsche, and then I was like, I'm less excited now. I don't know why. Like I don't know. I think it's just because it's not what I envisioned a Porsche to drive like in my brain. It's like
Did you
it's
somehow
just like a
expect it to be more of a muscle car?
yeah, I think so. I don't know. Like it felt like I was driving a Mini Cooper. You know what I mean? Like it's on rails, like for sure, but it doesn't. It's only got like 250 horsepower, so it's really not all that exciting.
I'm not a car guy, so I can't really offer much insight one way or the other.
That's fair.
I don't know a ton about cars, but I like cars. if
I
that
can
makes
talk
sense.
enough crap for all three of us.
Bonus podcast episode.
True.
I'm
There we go.
useless on that one. I'll join the
Car
music
special.
one, but the car special one I'm useless on.
There's like three things I'm useful on, guys. Come on, let me be useful sometimes.
Seeing I can just blend in. I'll let I might not have any knowledge on it, but I'll let people talk, and I will act like I know what you're talking about. So I can
You're
be
an
a pretty good
excellent
hype
chameleon,
man
is what
like
you're
that.
saying.
Well, wouldn't maybe say excellent, but I can blend in.
Passworthy.
Yeah.
If it's like a subject like cars that I don't actually know nor care that much about, I'm gonna I might be able to find interest for a little bit, but then after like 10 minutes, I'm probably going to be noticeably bored.
Well, you like motorcycles, so that's tangentially related.
I like riding
half a car.
motorcycles.
That's fair.
Even my motorcycle knowledge is not that great.
Does
The
it
heck?
turn on? Yes. Okay, I'm good.
Exactly.
And when I feel like it, I try to hug trees at high velocities.
Well,
There's
that-
zero trees involved. We've been over this many times. Zero
I know it's
trees
because
are
you did a
involved.
really bad job finding them.
Of trying to do it.
Right.
And actually, the same thing is true with the motorcycles. Like my dad has, like he had his ridiculous Italian bike called the Aprilia, which is like has a crazy. I don't remember the exact amount of horsepower, but you could like do a wheelie on it in like fifth gear.
That sounds more like a torque thing than a horsepower thing.
Well, it's got a lot of whatever. It's got a very powerful engine, whatever the proper term is.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
But like I drove the thing once and it was pretty much the same as the Porsche. It was like never has so much potential been so underutilized. And then like my dad and my brother drive it and then they're like,
That's how my
I'm worried
parents
I'm
felt
gonna
about
kill
me.
myself on this thing. I'm like, I was never really felt like I was out of control ever because I just never
I get
utilized
granny
any of the
geared it the
power.
whole times, short shifting it. Well, it can wind to 9,000 RPM, but I'm shifting at 1,500.
Well, that's how you get maximum fuel efficiency though.
True. Why don't you drive your car that way?
I drive it. I get pretty decent mileage with it.
Peter actually never started the bike. He just walked it down the road. I didn't burn any gas, guys.
I pushed
It's
it the
fine.
whole
Maximum fuel efficiency.
I just sat on it and tiptoed it down the road.
right.
That would be ultimate fuel efficiency.
And then I got to the hill and rode it
Yeah, exactly.
to the bottom of the hill.
I can balance just
True.
fine, and then I let it coast as far as I could.
So when I was story time. So like when I was like 15, I think maybe I might have been 16. I was right around that age, 15, 16. My buddy had a Yamaha big wheel, a 200cc Yamaha big wheel, which is basically a dirt bike with big fat like 3-wheeler tires on it. And man, we would just rip up and down all the dirt roads out by his place, and it had license plates and all that stuff. It was no big deal. Well, we stopped and like on the side of the road, we went out into the woods. I think we went to go look at an old abandoned house or something like that, right? And then we came back and there's a cop parked right behind the bike. We're like, and so yeah, I ended up getting a ticket for driving it without a license because apparently you needed a license to drive on the road, even though it's a dirt road. So
Stupid
because we weren't
laws.
in the ditches the whole time, right? Well, that thing was great to ride on the dirt roads because like you could lay it even sitting two people on there, you could lay it all the way down.
Hey, I don't want to hear you complaining about getting a ticket for breaking the law when you gave me so much grief for my stance on four-way stops.
You understand this was how long ago?
I was gonna say, is there
25
stance
years
on
ago?
four-way stops? If there's no one there, you don't need to stop.
That's his
Yes.
take.
Of course it is. Why did I know that? You didn't even need to explain it. I just knew that was going to be it.
What? Do you disagree too? If there's no other traffic, why do you have to stop? It's a yield sign at that point.
Because
Just
you're
go.
blind and you might be missing something.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. You did bring that up earlier.
I only said it that way as a jest to Mike because he's the one who's always like making fun of my poor eyesight. I can see well enough to drive. I can see.
I'm not making fun of your
objects.
eyesight, Peter. I'm pointing out the obvious.
I can see well enough to drive. I can see vehicles. I can see pedestrians. I might not be able to read their license plates or tell you the color of their eyes, but I can
Heaven
see
help
that
us.
they're.
I swore you were going to say I might not be able to tell you the color of the vehicle. I was going to be like, that's a big problem. That's a problem.
Are
you
colorblind? If I
colorblind?
can still see it.
So that's why you think it's a yield sign.
Like signs, like there's more like it's like the Pirate's Code, right? They're more like guidelines. You just,
Well, yeah, don't you know
Okay,
all stop signs with the white border are just optional?
There's two types of basis for laws. There's like laws that have a basis in like actual morality and ethics, and there's because of like the action itself is immoral. And then there's ones that just sort of like lead to that direction because if society as a whole always operates under that and follows that law, it will lead to far less like, vehicular accidents and things like that.
Like stop
Yeah,
signs.
like stop signs.
Right. But my point is, this is a situation where there can never be an issue. There's zero
Never.
traffic. There's
Never.
zero traffic. You're there by yourself. What's
Tell
the
I
them-
difference?
understand what you're saying.
So you
What-
get the problem here is that you get so comfortable with not stopping that eventually you'll be driving home and you'll be exhausted or something and not really paying attention, and you'll treat it like a yield sign and you'll end up like hurting somebody or yourself or damaging
No.
property. It happens. But why do you think all these people say that they never saw that motorcycle? And just it's because they,
I
they're
see
on autopilot.
motorcycles. I'm looking for motorcycles because I could be the person getting sideswiped.
Right, but I'm just using it as an example. Like, all these new roundabouts that we're getting in Minnesota that are just, the cat's meow if you ask the people running the situation. But so many people don't bother to stop and yield at those things that I almost get sideswiped on a daily basis. Well, daily as in the days that
I'm not
Every time
someone
you use one.
sideswiping someone in a roundabout. I'm
I'm
not
just-
referring to any
you
of these
sure?
other. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
positive.
would you know if you did?
You're gonna have so many clips from this last like half hour of this episode that have nothing to do with our actual channel.
There's a huge difference between like not yielding on a. I'm saying you should yield. That's my whole purpose in this. If there's traffic coming, you stop. If there's zero traffic, then you can just, slow down and go.
So okay, so that is this like a distinctive view on just four-way stops? What do you think about stops where there's only two stop signs and one set of traffic gets to just not yield at all?
I mean, it's pretty much the same principle. If there's no
Okay,
traffic,
okay, no,
going down
hey,
there, you
just
can
as long
still
as you're
just
consistent, that's
go.
all I'm.
What if it's
Just
a
verify.
stop light instead of a stop sign?
They tend to have. They can have cameras, so.
So when you
Ugh.
could be caught,
Well, yeah, I don't want to get a
realistically-
ticket.
Realistically, if a stoplight has all four red lights, there's a problem.
Right. That's
well,
true.
I mean, but you're sitting on a stoplight,
Yeah,
It's
I'm
no,
not-
I get
for
what you're
you.
saying.
but there's no traffic. Do you just go?
It's the most
okay.
frustrating.
I have had to do that before because the stoplight at Mill and 210 or Washington, like if you're going, what would that be? East. If you're going east on Washington or 210, and you want to turn north onto Mill Avenue, like if you're in that left-hand turn lane, I don't know if like the weights are broken or what, but like during the winter time, if it's fairly cold, the weights get like frozen and it will never register you there. And I used to, when I delivered pizzas and I was driving home at like in the middle of the night during the winter time, I have sat at that stupid left turn lane for a good 5+ minutes with zero, chance of that
Going
thing.
through like 3 cycles.
and you just
He says
just
5
went.
minutes, but when you're sitting at a stoplight, 30 seconds feels like an eternity.
Well, either way, it's not changing. There's no traffic. There's nobody else on the road. I went. Was that immoral? Am I a bad person for that?
No, because I presume that there's a malfunction, in which case then you wouldn't be in the wrong necessarily. But remember that we were called upon to also follow the laws of man, and this is
Look at him bring it back to the Bible.
right.
He saved this last half hour.
This is a law of man that is not based in like an actual moral
So
failure.
it doesn't
if
matter.
you
It's still a
stop.
law. So is it our place
Pay
to
to
pick
Caesar
and
what's-
choose
is
which
owed to
laws
Caesar.
we follow and which we don't? What about God's laws? Do we pick and choose which ones of those we should follow?
We don't pick and choose God's law, but this isn't one of God's law. This is a traffic law.
It kind of is, because we're supposed to also follow the law of man.
If there is zero other traffic, there's no moral implications for just going.
He's just stuck on the whole moral thing. It doesn't matter if it's a legal requirement or not.
I don't dispute the fact that technically, legally, it is illegal. I'm just saying, morally,
So-
there's nothing wrong with it.
So you're saying like if you would have got caught at that stoplight on Mill Ave taking that left on a red light, you wouldn't go try and dispute it in court?
I would, yeah.
Okay, so you would. All right.
What about a four-way stop?
The four-way stop, I would also actually that happened once. I got pulled over for.
You get a warning though. It doesn't count.
I did get a warning, but
But if you got a ticket, would you have went and disputed it?
I would not have disputed it, but I would have been angry because there was.
Well, okay, that wasn't the question.
Well, I didn't
So then
lie
you
to the
admit that
cop.
you're
about
wrong.
it.
Is
I
what
didn't
you're
lie
saying.
to the cop. I can tell you exactly how it happened. He pulled me over, and I didn't even realize there was a cop behind me, and he was a fair distance behind me. But he pulled me over, and he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I honestly had no idea why he pulled me over because I wasn't speeding.
This is how much he does this. He doesn't even notice he does it
It's just a
anymore.
normal.
So I'm like, "No, I don't know why you pulled me over." He's like, "You didn't stop at the four-way stop," and I told him not exactly in this much autistic detail, but I said, "Oh yeah, well, there's no
You can dumb it
traffic,
down.
so I just kind of slowed down and turned." So yeah, that's fair enough. And then he gave me a warning,
Yeah.
which means
that
that
makes
he agreed with me, but he felt like he needed.
No, I think
No,
it
if he
means that he
agreed with
respected you being honest with him.
Yes, exactly. He gave you the benefit of the doubt because you're being honest. Because if he agreed with you, he wouldn't have given you a written warning. Because written warnings still
Probably
go on
wouldn't
your
even pulled
record
you
now.
over.
I think he actually agreed with me and just wanted to tell me that he agreed with me. That's why he pulled me over.
I mean, whatever you need to
are
tell
really
yourself
good at
is
gaslighting
fine.
yourself when you want to believe something. So I'm going to bring us back to the root of this argument in that if you got a ticket, you would pay for it, but you'd be angry, which is in and of itself admitting that you're wrong.
No, how is that? No, it's admitting that the government has greater authority, and then if I try to fight it, it's going to be like a futile effort.
Exactly, because
Morally,
you're wrong.
I'm in the right.
You are not in the right.
The mental
Morally, I'm at least
gymnastics here,
neutral. Morally, I'm at least neutral.
in your opinion.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we settled it.
This is like trying to argue with somebody that says that abortion is moral.
Yep.
This isn't anything like that.
Yes, it is, because no matter what we say, you will just continue to believe whatever it is that you want to believe.
No, because there's actual moral implications to that. In one, you're ending a human life, and another, you're just not obeying an arbitrary traffic law when there's absolutely no one around and no danger of any harm.
I said this
to
is
someone.
what it's like to argue with somebody. I wasn't making a comparison of the crime.
Again, what it's like when you're usually arguing with someone about abortion.
Right.
I
Immediately
disagree with
very
that
defensive.
characterization. I disagree entirely with this characterization.
That's fair. You can do that. I think you're proving our point even more, but that's fine.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I mean, again, you're just continuing. That sigh sounds very familiar.
This is these are ad hominem attacks.
Is it?
Yes.
Hey, we're
not accusing
Ad hominem
your
and false
character of anything.
equivalence.
It's not false equivalence.
Yes, it is.
How?
It is not the same exact thing, I will give you that. But the concept of the argument and
Right.
how you are justifying your decision is very similar.
I would argue also not true because I'm not justifying
But
killing
laws are
someone.
just social constructs, Peter.
That is why I said there's two distinct types of laws. There's the laws that are based on morality and ones that are social constructs because as a society we've agreed if everyone obeys traffic laws it will lead to less traffic deaths. But this is a situation where my exclusive point is there's zero other traffic. This is like if you're driving at 4 a.m. There's nothing else on the road. Like
That you are aware of.
My goodness.
Well, I mean,
Fine.
yeah.
Well, you could
to be fair, because you
stop at
proved
the
your own
four-way
point
stop,
getting the
and
written.
maybe another guy doesn't. Maybe you stop at the four-way stop. Another guy doesn't stop and drives right through, and you hit each other, and boom. Like
Well, and that's why
anything
you
could
should
happen.
stop at the
Like, you
four-way
could be
stop
like,
all the
there's-
time.
Right? See?
Well, if you hadn't stopped, you would have gone in front of him, and he wouldn't have.
One
hit
of
you.
these days, you're going to get T-boned by a golf cart, Peter, and you're going to be very angry.
It's going to be the other way around on that one, probably.
You're gonna T-bone a golf cart, and you're gonna laugh.
if you had to deal with all the golf carts on the road I live on,
your
all summer
area
long,
sucks for golf carts.
Yeah,
It really does.
and you have to. It's only by the grace of God that I haven't hit one yet.
Because you don't stop at four-way stops.
Right?
If there's traffic, I stop. If there's traffic,
But do you consider them to be traffic?
That's the whole point. Yes, I can. Okay.
He's like, I hate these guys. I'm not stopping.
Pedestrians and
They're
golf
the whole
carts.
reason.
Legally, I should have the right of way, but I will stop because they're morons and they might go.
I mean,
They're
everybody's a
entitled.
moron
They're not
in their own way.
morons. They're entitled.
There's not mutually exclusive. They can be both.
I mean, okay.
I mean, let's be fair. Most of us are morons at least one point of our lives.
That's
We all have
Especially
our
when it comes to
moments.
driving. Like,
Right?
I've never been a moron. when it comes to
okay, keep gaslighting yourself there.
Okay, now that this episode is fully devolved, if you
I
want
was
to
say,
hear
I feel
more
like the last
about
20 minutes
Peter-
kind of prove you've been a moron driving more than once.
I am at no point in any of my anecdotes or stories here have I been unsafe.
So you might
At no
have
point
to
was
cut...
anyone threatened by any
driving
of my
with you
driving.
is unsafe. What are you talking
No.
about?
See, here's more anti-Peter's eyesight propaganda.
You might have to just cut after the prayer and make this its own little mini
The
episode.
DMV
Just gonna throw that one
has
out there.
legally cleared
know-
me to drive.
Peter or Nick, maybe we should just have another prayer about Peter and is his not only in regards to his eyesight, but maybe his unwillingness
him,
to follow
Lord.
the law or traffic.
Lord,
Follow
protect
my-
Peter anytime he gets behind the wheel. Just anytime.
Please, he needs it. We
I
all
have
need it.
only ever been a part of one accident. Well, okay, two. But I don't remember.
Hallelujah.
In a
Praise
car,
the
I've
Lord
only
for
been
that.
a part of one accident. And it was not my fault. I got rear-ended.
One
It was
handful of
100%
accidents.
the other guy's fault. The other one was when I crashed my motorcycle, but I don't remember that. I have no idea
And-
what happened.
Praise the Lord. He's been watching over you every time you get behind the wheel.
Well, technically, there's no wheel. Well, I guess there's
Okay.
handlebars.
Well, there's a
Okay.
wheel in front of you
And behind you.
and behind you.
True. There's two wheels.
But you're kind of riding those wheels, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you
Okay,
kinda
now
do
we're
in a
really
car, too, in a
devolving.
really roundabout way,
Yeah. We're really devolving now.
right? I think this is a good time to end it, guys, before it gets worse.
My driving is fine. Statistically, I'm very safe.
Okay, I'll give you that because I
Let's-
actually haven't
let's-
seen you drive.
Let's go with that,
This is all Mike propaganda. Don't believe him.
Hey, at least I didn't get roped into this one. I'll take it.
right? Well, I've never been with you in a car, so
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm sure I have, but it's been a while, so I don't really actually remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we ever rode together. I've been to your house. That's all I know. I had to deliver a stupid trophy to you.
I
For
still have
what?
it. Lombardi for Madden
Yeah.
Oh.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
for the franchise.
I had to
Yeah, the
give
one
it
that
up.
you were too scared to continue.
Too scared. I lost.
You dropped out after like week 4.
Which one was that? Oh, it's because I was raging so hard
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. It took me a long
NFL
time
on-
to be okay with it.
on that. All the highest difficulty is like I can barely even win games, man.
Were we
It's
playing on the
ridiculous.
highest difficulty in that one? We
It
might have
was
been.
the highest difficulty.
Yeah.
The
And then
only
we
way
offered
that
to
I
lower it down, and then I think Mike was like, "Nah, I'm just done."
yeah. It's because I was getting so angry and I didn't want to be, like it's one of those things where like if something makes you so angry that you
Yeah.
just spend the whole game just cursing, then you probably just shouldn't play it anymore. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
So you agree
Yep.
I shouldn't play League of Legends then?
No, you do fine with that. You curse way more when you play Dota.
That's probably not true. It's probably
You guys
about
and your
equal.
MOBAs or whatever they're called.
Yeah. They're MOBAs. To be fair, I
have
don't
to,
really
like-
play League of Legends anymore. I just try to rope other people in the I
Really
want
play.
to play it. I want to play it, but I don't have anybody to play with, and I don't want to play by myself because I feel stupid playing by myself. So
That's fair. That is a game that or like those style of games I could not play alone
right,
unless I'm
Like-
Peter.
I
right.
played-
Well, he's got online friends that play with him and his brothers.
Well, that helps.
So
All right, again, keep on just going downhill from here.
yeah, 3, 2, 1, stop, go, stop, start, stop.